Hello YouTube and welcome to the nation of free to play. I'm Mr. Mondstadt and today I want to talk about the banner lineup in version 5.8. The Genshin livestream just announced the first character from Nod Krai, Ineffa, as well as some long awaited reruns. I will analyze Ineffa's kit and current F2P value, talk about the rerunning 5 stars and will give you my poll priority list, so make sure to stick around till the end. Ineffa is a new 5-star character in version 5.8 and the first unit from the upcoming region Nod Krai. She is an electropolar that seems to work best as a sub DPS / support, but her main selling point is the fact that she brings a brand new reaction to the game, Lunar-charged, but more on that in a bit. Ineffa's normal attacks are very simple and not really an important part of her kit, so let's move on to her elemental skill. With her E, Ineffa deals AoE electro damage, provides an electro shield to your active character and summons her robot assistant Brigitta, who will stay on field and deal damage to enemies. Her shield is apparently attack scaling, so you would not have to compromise between defensive utility and damage. With her elemental burst, Ineffa deals electro damage and either summons or re-summons Brigitta, who will once again stay on field. In other words, her skill and burst work very similar to Fischl's, but instead of Oz you will get Brigitta. This means that you will use Ineffa most likely as an off-field unit who deals electro damage to enemies and provides a shield to your other teammates. However, this alone does not sound super exciting yet, which is why we need to talk about her passive talents. When Ineffa is in your party, she will enable a new reaction in Genshin Impact, Lunar-charged. Lunar-charged occurs when Electro meets Hydro, but instead of the usual Electro-charged reaction, you will trigger the new Lunar-charged reaction. This new reaction works slightly different from Taser in the sense that it will create a thundercloud over the enemies, which can then be hit by it. As far as we know, Lunar-charged will still count as a transformative reaction and with that ignores defense. But other than Electro-charged, this reaction will be able to crit. This means that the crit stats of your damage dealing units will not only be beneficial to their personal damage, but also to the new reaction damage. If you want to know more about the way the damage calculations for Lunar-charged work, I recommend you look for some videos by theory crafters. For now, it looks like Lunar-charged can be a small upgrade for some Taser teams, but not game-breaking to the damage ceiling or anything like that. However, Ineffa's kit has some more talents that I still need to talk about. If there are thunderclouds nearby, meaning if you trigger Lunar-charged, Ineffa will deal additional attacks with her A1 passive, and these hits seem to be very strong, as they also count as Lunar-charged damage and with that ignore defense. These hits are in fact the main source of Ineffa's personal damage and make her one of the strongest sub DPSs in the game. Also, after she uses her burst, she will buff your other party members' elemental mastery based on her own attack, which will increase the overall Lunar-charged damage as well. So, to sum things up, Ineffa's kit gives you a shield, off-field damage and the new Lunar-charged reaction. While this is all useful, how good will she actually be on her release? From what we know so far, Ineffa will make Taser teams slightly stronger and can be paired with basically any Hydro or Electro DPS. Clorin, Ayato, Varessa, Keqing and of course Neuvillette are only some options. Other than someone like Escoffier though, she does not add as much value to these teams, and it is a tricky situation to decide your pulling plans. The fact that she is from Nod Krai, but that region is not out yet, could mean that some of her potential is held back for 6.0. What do I mean by that? Right now, Ineffa does not really have a great artifact set for her. Yes, you can run her on Tenacity, Noblesse, or even a 2-piece with focus on attack and elemental mastery, but nothing sticks out here. With the release of Nod Krai, the odds of us getting new artifact sets are very high, and even though we do not know anything about these potential sets yet, they could synergize well with Ineffa since she is from Nod Krai as well. On top of that, while the Electro and Hydro carries I just mentioned can definitely benefit from her, none of these really require her so far. Ineffa reminds me a lot of Emily, a 5-star Polearm character released in the last version of a region who focuses on a kinda niche reaction and is also kinda hard to place in the meta. What happened to Emily was the release of Kinich in version 5.0, a burning DPS who heavily profited from her as a sub DPS. What I wanna say is that, even though we do not know anything about the Nod Krai characters yet, it feels like Ineffa's best teammate is yet to be released. This would also fit the current pattern. Emily came out before Kinich, Xylonen before Mavuika, Escoffier before Skirk. Hoyo releases the support first before they give us the DPS, and in Ineffa's case, I would not be too surprised if this were to happen once again. In this sense, it is a bit of a gamble whether you want to go for her or not. If you like playing Electrocharged and want to increase the potential of this reaction, she is your best shot, but if not, she does not feel like a must-pull character. With that being said, it is time to move on to the rerun characters in version 5.8, and as Natlan is ending, we get reruns of 3 beloved heroines, Mualani, Chasca and Citlali. Starting out with Mualani, she was released as one of the strongest DPSs in the game in version 5.0 and is, in my opinion, still one of the strongest units in the game if you are patient. But from the start. She is a Hydro Catalyst DPS who specializes in the Vaporize reaction. While you can't ignore her normal attacks as a part of her kit, she can deal insane numbers with her shark bites that come from her skill. With it, she will hop on her Surf Shark and mark enemies up to 3 times before releasing her shark bites. If you play her well, you can get up to 3 shark bites per rotation, and each one of them can deal high 6-digit damage numbers even at C0. The same is true for her Elemental Burst, which will hit for even higher numbers, but is a single instance of damage. For dedicated Mualani players, the girl from the People of the Springs can be one of the best speedrunning characters in Genshin and destroy enemies within seconds. However, this comes with a catch. In order to reach her max potential, you might have to reset Abyss a couple of times. In order to deal these big hits, you want to vaporize every shark bite, so you need enough pyro application from off-field in order to do so. Next up, her gameplay can feel clunky from time to time, as sometimes Sharky gets disoriented and, well, misses. One miss is equal to a reset because you lose out on about 300k damage. And she does not work against every enemy lineup. Ideally, you want to use her against one enemy or a few ones that are close together, but her AoE is not great, especially if the enemies are not grouped. With all of that in mind though, she is still very strong if you can check all the boxes for her optimal performance. Speaking of optimal, she is best on the 4-piece Obsidian Codex set with focus on crit, HP and EM. With the release of Skirk, you could also unironically run her as a support with a hero set and TTDS, but that's up to you. For weapons, she is pretty F2P friendly, as you can give her the Nutline Craftable or a highly refined Vitsith, even though the latter will make you reset Abyss even more. For teams, make sure to vape every hit, so units like Xiangling, Mavuika or Emily to trigger burning are great options. Additionally, throw in some buffers like Xylonen, Farina, Nahida or Candice. Personally, I like Mualani a lot and am a bit biased towards her, but I try to stay as objective as possible. Next up, let's talk about Citlali. Our favorite granny from Teyvat is coming back after her initial release in version 5.3 alongside Mavuika. Because of the timing back then, I assume a lot of players could not get her, so now might be the best time to do so. She is a Cryo Catalyst shield support and the best melt enabler in the game. Her normal attacks are irrelevant, but with her skill she creates a shield for your active character, and with her burst she causes an ice storm. The combination of her E and Q will let you melt multiple pyro hits, and therefore she is the best support for many pyro carries such as Mavuika, Arlecchino or Gaming. With her passive, she will shred the hydro and pyro resistance of enemies by 20%, which makes her also very viable for hydro units such as Neuvillette, Yelan or Ayato. Personally, I even run her with my Skirk in freeze teams. 2 further buffs come from her gear, as Citlali can run the hero set as well as Thrilling Tales, so more damage bonus and attack for your DPS of choice. To be honest with you, Citlali is probably my most used support on my account besides Bennett, as I run her with my Gaming, Yoimiya, Arlecchino, Mavuika, Neuvillette and also Skirk. Her kit is just too good to miss out on. Of course, we do not know how the meta will change during Nod Krai, but Citlali is one of the best supportive 5-star units you could go for. So I do not regret getting her even for a second. And last but not least, Chasca will come back as well in version 5.8. She is an Anemo bow DPS, but actually she hardly is Anemo to be fair. Chasca has the ability to infuse her bullet shots from her skill and burst with any swirlable element that is on your party and deal big numbers as well as deal reaction damage this way to enemies. Her normals are not important once again, but her skill and burst utilize her giant gun and open fire at opponents. She reaches her full potential against single target bosses, as her AoE abilities aren't too great. In AoE, her damage will split between enemies, but against one boss, her shots go the full 9 yards. I feel like since her release in version 5.2, she has only gotten better, as she works well with Auron, Citlali, Farina, Mavuika, yeah even Chevrus and Escoffier can work with her. And I assume she will also synergize decently with Ineffa. Her gameplay is also super easy, as you can hover over enemies in combat, break Night Soul shields very fast and fly across to that for exploration. Just like any Natlan DPS, you want to run her on Obsidian Codex for her best performance. However, even though Chasca is a strong unit, she is not extraordinarily strong by the new Natlan standards. Mavuika, Varessa and Skirk are all stronger in terms of DPS numbers, but Chasca shines in terms of team flexibility and a kinda brain-dead gameplay. Whether she's worth it for your account also depends on how much you like her as a character. If you've been waiting for her rerun for a long time, she is a good unit for sure, but if you're kinda indifferent about her, I would maybe save for Nod Krai units. And with that, the only thing that is left to do is my pull priority list. But before that, please do me a favor and check whether you are subscribed already, because a big majority of my audience is not, and I would really appreciate it if we could change that. Your support would really mean a lot and costs you literally nothing, so thanks a lot in advance. Alright, without any further ado though, here is my pull priority list. The first spot goes to Citlali. I think for most F2P accounts, her kit adds the most value, as you can run her with Hydro and Pyro units, she's easy to build and can run a 3-star weapon. What more do you want? The second spot goes to Ineffa, at least for now. I think she is an okay unit right now, but I expect her to become even better with the release of Nod Krai. However, this is also just speculation, so don't feel forced to get her, as Nod Krai will have many new shiny waifus and husbandos, but for now Ineffa gets the second spot. In the third spot I have to put Mualani. People either love or hate her, but I'm a big fan of her character and have been saving to guarantee her on her rerun. I can't wait to try her on my account, and even though she can be frustrating to play sometimes, she can be very satisfying and rewarding to play at the same time. And the last spot goes to Chasca, but that does not mean that she is a bad unit by any means. The 5.8 lineup is simply very cracked, and in other patches she might have secured number 1 on the list. I personally am not the biggest fan of her kit, even though it is comfortable against the right opponents. I just have too many DPSs against single target enemies already to justify getting her, that's all. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. In the end, pull for the units you want and like. Genshin is a game and not a competition. Meta will only bring you so far, so don't overthink things. These videos are meant to help you as a free-to-play player, but don't feel forced to get or skip anyone just because of my opinion. Anyway, I hope this video helped you in making your decision, and if so, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know who you're going for in version 5.8. Personally, I will finally get Mualani and save the rest for Nod Krai. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!